Which animal has a famous laugh that's used as stock audio all over the world and is a riotous bunch to hang out with? Well, grab your binoculars and your core cap because we're going to the scrublands of Australia to find out on today's episode of Animal Bites. This isn't Australia.
Hi, welcome to Whoa! Okay, so a few technical difficulties. Let's see if we can fix this. Nope. Okay, alright, perfect. I like it. Anyway, come with me as we head to the outback country, to the arid eucalyptus forests of Australia. More specifically, we're going to Eastern Australia. All of Eastern Australia. Let me introduce you to one of the local Aussies, Dacelo, Nova Guinea, or as his friends call him, the Laughing Kookaburra. A part of the kingfisher family and always the life of the family reunions, Laughing Kookaburra are one of the largest of the kingfishers. Of the 4 distinct species in the Kookaburra genus, there are the Dacelo, the rufous-bellied, spangled, and my favorite, the blue-winged Kookaburra, because those little blue wings are very pretty. All of these jokesters can be found from Eastern Australia to Tasmania, New Zealand, and even New Guinea. You don't have to go quite as far to visit our cackling cohorts. We're here at Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago, Illinois with this riotous group, which is funny because a group of Kookaburras is actually called a riot. I crack myself up. It makes perfect sense when you hear them do their thing. The species as a whole can grow to be around 11 to 19 inches tall, which is roughly around the size of a 2-liter. And they can weigh 11 ounces, which is about the weight of 2 billiard balls. Their lifespan in the wild can be around 11 years, but in managed care, they can live to be about 20. The word Kookaburra comes from the Wiradjuri, which is an indigenous Australian people.
Unlike most kingfishers, kookaburras don't often eat fish. Matter of fact, they don't even spend that much time near the water. They don't even really need to drink water as they get their hydration from the prey that they eat.
Kookaburra are sexually dimorphic, which means that the males and females are visually different from each other. The males are normally brighter and more colorful. This is so that way they can attract a mate and compete with other males. The females, however, are duller in color so they can blend in with their environment when sitting on eggs. If you're stuck in one spot for weeks on end, you'd rather be hidden from predators rather than flash your location to them. All Kookaburra are almost exclusively carnivores. Their menu consists of mice, snakes, small reptiles, the hatchlings and young of other birds, and of course they enjoy a nice crunchy insect snack as well. Like most birds, the kookaburra will swoop in, attacking its prey from above, catching it in its beak, and carrying it off to a safe place to dispatch. The kookaburra uses strong head swings to whack the creature against the trees or rocks to tenderize their meal until the bones are nice and broken. After the prey is subdued or dead, it goes down the hatch hole. Like the fat distant cousin, the owl, the indigestible parts such as the fur and bones are regurgitated back up in the form of a pellet. The family group, or riot, is normally around 3 to 6 birds thick. There is a dominant breeding pair and 1 to 4 helpers, which are offspring from previous seasons. These offspring usually consist of males, as females go their own way after a year. The group protect their territory very fiercely and will sing as a choir to keep trespassers away. Kookaburras will actually honor territory, and one experiment in the late 60s by researchers showed that Kookaburra wouldn't cross into a neighboring bird's territory even when food was thrown across the invisible line. And now for the question of the day.
Now for the question of the day. According to an old Australian farmer's tale, what does it mean when a kookaburra makes his noise in the middle of the day? Does it mean A, rain is surely to come, B, the night is going to be cold and rainy, C, a tornado is going to rip through, or D, Joe won't stop laughing at me from behind the camera?
Okay. Alright, we're good.
The answer is A. The sign of rain is sure to come. Now, according to the tale, the kookaburra that calls in the midday is very good for farmers and his crops. There is no scientific data to back it up, but some old myths like black cockatoos that can predict how long it's going to rain, horses that predict tornadoes, crickets that can tell the temperature, well, they're just fun little experiments, but some are a little hard to ignore. Like, in 1975, there was a Chinese city that was evacuated because all their animals started acting a little weird. 3 hours later, a 7.3 magnitude earthquake rocked the city. I'm not sure what you'd call that, but it sure is interesting.
The laughing kookaburra is known as the Bushman's clock because their laughter often happens at dusk and dawn. Their calls can be heard during the midday, but that's because it's how they protect their territory from predators and other kookaburras. When one bird starts a call, the others join in a raucous chorus. It sounds kind of like this. Beautiful. Their loud call is used in older films as stock sound effects. Even the famous dolphin Flipper didn't make all the noises himself. He was voiced over by a distorted kookaburra call. How many movies that take place outside of Australia can you recognize this bird's call? All species of kookaburras are considered least concern by the IUCN because Australia law protects all native birds regardless of conservation status. In 2009 census, there were an estimated 65 million laughing kookaburras. When it comes to romance, these guys are monogamous and will mate for life. Each pair will become the dominant breeding pair of their very own riot. Their typical nest rises in a mountain gum tree 30 feet or higher, and they'll lay 2 to 4 pure white eggs, usually about a day apart. Incubation of the kookaburra eggs are only 24 to 26 days. After the babies hatch, it's a fight for dominance straight out of the egg. This will usually end in death for the youngest of the chicks, as the first hatchlings have the upper hand and will kill their siblings. This behavior is known as siblicide. The surviving chicks are raised mostly by the riot's helpers, which are year-old offspring of the dominant pair. Sexual maturity happens approximately a year after hatching. After maturing, the females fly off to breed, and the male helpers stay behind for another year or two. A hierarchy exists among the helpers who also battle for dominance. They'll spar against one another, which involves sitting on a perch and grabbing each other's beaks in an attempt to throw the opponent off. The whole act looks like a cross between arm wrestling and pugil fighting, or giant Q-tip fighting as some call it. Kookaburras can be good neighbors. They help keep the bug outbreaks low and hunt snakes, both venomous and non-venomous. If you see a kookaburra in your backyard, it means the snake population is low.
Well, I'm glad that we got to discover more about kookaburras. If you learned something, or if you want to learn about your favorite animal, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to share this video with your friends as well, so that way they can learn about their favorite animals as well. As for the animal we'll be learning about next time, well, the joke is at the bottom of the description, and that joke is, what did the snow leopard say to the goat when he bumped into him? It's no problem. So next time, we'll be learning about snow leopards here on Animal Bites. And just remember, it only takes one person to change the world for the better. Bye!
And now for the conservation shout out. Hey everyone, thanks for hanging around the conservation shout out. Today's conservation fun we'll be talking about today is the Australia Zoo Rescue Unit. Many of you are familiar with Steve Irwin. Nicknamed the Crocodile Hunter, he was an Australian zookeeper, conservationist, television personality, wildlife expert, environmentalist, and for some of us, our personal hero. He and his family worked diligently to protect Australia and the worldwide wildlife. After his death, his wife and children and grandchildren worked to continue his legacy. The Australian Rescue Unit acts like an animal ambulance. They save animals from deadly roads, deadly injuries, and fishing net mishaps, and much more. They bring the animals back to the Australia Zoo and nurse them back to health. If the injuries are too critical to re-release, then the animal stays with the zoo caretakers permanently. They rescue sea turtles, koalas, kookaburras, and all sorts of animals in trouble. They were a big part of the 2020 rescue of the Australian wildfires. They were on the road 7 days a week just helping out wildlife. You can even call the number on the screen if you live in Southeast Queensland, Australia. Even if you can't donate money, they always take donations in the form of joey bags, medical equipment, blankets, towels, small animal carriers, and much more. You can donate at the link at the bottom of the description. You can help the planet, the animals, and the environment by helping out a conservation fund like this, or by doing simple things like recycling, turning off the water while you brush your teeth, and turning off lights that you aren't using. Thank you everyone for helping us save the planet, and remember, it only takes one person to change the world for the better. We'll see you next time. Bye!